After reprovisioning the Eclipse and having lunch at Sam's Tours on Molokai Island, we went out and did a dive on the sunken Japanese oil tanker, the Amatsu Maru. The Amatsu Maru was sunk during the Desecrate Air Raid in 1944, along with 68 other ships by the U.S. Navy. The Amatsu Maru was a 10,000-ton class steam tanker, 502 feet long, 65 feet wide, and displacing 10,567 tons. We start our descent to the wreck that is lying upright 130 feet down. I zoom in on a section of the bridge, and then the raised oil pipeline connecting the bridge to the stern island. We land on the deck midship at 75 feet. From a cargo mast, past black-lipped pearl oysters, over to the port or left side. There's lots of silt in the water today. Through forests of golden-colored black coral. Some of these coral trees grow to 8 feet tall, and thus the reason that this wreck is also known as the Black Coral Wreck. She was built by Mitsubishi in December 1943 and promptly sunk by aircraft from the U.S. carrier Enterprise less than 4 months later on March 30, 1944. Brian swimming over the pipeline. Rich and I are along the railing, and the black coral is so thick we can hardly see anything. I picked up this black-lipped pearl oyster shell and took it home. A bright red zoanthid. I look inside some bomb damage and see black coral framed in a hole on the starboard side. Some beautiful octocoral has taken root. Continue toward the stern. Looks like the railing is still pretty much intact. We come to the hatch of an oil tank. I come closer and shine my light down. Then I decide to go inside. I signal to Rich and the rest, and I'm headed down. Twin portholes look like an animal ready to pounce. I move past the exposed ribs on the port side. 8,000 gallons of oil were recovered from these tanks after she sank. The bottom is covered in sediment. Up to an open hatch cover, and over to the blown-up plates on the starboard side. These holes in the midsection are what sunk the Amatsu Maru, and the deck above is buckled from the blast. As I head back, I see the lights of the others over what appears to be containers. With extra light from the rest is a panel of gauges. Another hole with coral filling it. I follow Brian out of the blasted plates on the starboard side. There's lots of twisted metal around here. Looks like the tide is bringing in lots of sediment and plankton. I duck into another hold. Here's some weird electrical components. And blurry shots of the ship's ribs and keel. And I'm out. And we continue our way towards the stern. Farther back, Rich pauses at a small opening. I swim up and poke the camera inside. There's a large dome-top container with rails at the sides and hose-like coils on it. A porthole nearby opens to the dark sea. While Brian, Patrick, and Joseph hang out on the deck, Rich and I head over the stern. Past white whip coral, a type of black coral. It's getting darker as we descend 50 feet deeper than the deck. A glance up at the surface as I sink fins first towards the bottom. After the war, the Japanese started salvaging what they could off of this wreck. A diver using a cutting torch hit a gas pocket, blowing himself and another diver up. The Japanese considered this a bad omen and gave up salvaging, leaving the propeller. The massive rudder comes into view. As I follow it down, I notice the black coral is growing only on the right side. This must be the darker side of the ship. Finally, it sinks into the soft bottom. Up the starboard hull now, past huge black coral growth. A blade of the enormous four-bladed propeller comes into view. Each blade must be 10 to 12 feet long. Now the profile of the rudder and up to the propeller framed in its opening. Geared steam turbines drove this prop with 9,500 horsepower, producing 15 knots. My computer says we're at 127 feet. A pinnate batfish greets me as I head up the stern island causeway below the lifeboat deck. Now it swims over in front of a black-spotted porcupine fish. These batfish are very shy. A little demonstration for you there. One-line snappers flash past as I follow it forward. Under a fallen mast. There's lots of more rigging lying around. The batfish has joined his companions around midship. My dive computer is in the nitrogen danger zone now, so we can't do any more exploring forward. To do so would require 4 or 5 more dives. So we head up for a lengthy decompression. We stop around 20 feet and watch our nitrogen levels go down. I'm holding the shells that I got on the ship. I'm at 21 feet, maximum depth of 127 feet, and 33 minutes of dive time, including now. At the surface above us, large swells are rolling by, making interesting patterns. Watching them help pass the time. In a few moments, the eclipse will be here to pick us up.